Nerves are very important anatomical structures because they are responsible for the innervation of different structures. So they are actually important in terms of both somatic and autonomic functions. And talking about the somatic and autonomic functions, they are responsible for both motor functions and the sensory functions of the body. And talking about the posterior compartment of the thigh, a very important structure and a very important nerve, which is the sciatic nerve, actually courses down the posterior aspect of the thigh and then distributes into its two major branches, including the common peroneal or the common fibular, also known as the common fibular, and on the other hand, the tibial. So tibial nerve and the common peroneal nerve are the two branches of it, and that's what we're going to talk about in detail. And sciatic nerve is also important because it is clinically involved in numerous patients, such as in the patients with lower back pain, lumbar radiculopathy, spinal stenosis, and discogenic degenerative diseases, and sciatica. So sciatic nerve is actually a branch of the lumbosacral plexus, and the lumbosacral plexus is just similar to the brachial plexus in the cervical region. We have a lumbosacral plexus in the for the innervation of the lower extremities. And talking about the segments of origin for the sciatic nerve, it is L4, L5, S1, S2, and S3. And that is perhaps the reason that we see the symptoms of sciatica or the symptoms in the distribution of the sciatic nerve very commonly associated with low back pain, because low back pain is commonly involving the disc at the level of L4, L5, or L5, S1, and these are the two most commonly involved segments, and all of those segments are actually relating with the spinal cord segmental origin of the sciatic nerve. Now, the sciatic nerve descends into the posterior thigh compartment from the gluteal region into the posterior thigh, and it innervates all the muscles in the posterior thigh compartment. As we can see here, now we have the posterior gluteal region, and here we have the posterior thigh region, and the sciatic nerve actually arises from the L4 to S3 and then passes beneath the piriformis muscle above the adductor magnus, and it passes downward and then divides into common peroneal and tibial nerve. So it branches continue into till the leg and foot, and also supply the muscles of the lower leg and foot as well. So if we talk about the course of the sciatic nerve, as already mentioned, once it exits the beneath the piriformis, and that is also perhaps one of the potential site of entrapment of the sciatic nerve, and that is commonly known as piriformis syndrome, in which the piriformis either becomes short or hypertonic or hypertrophic, and thus starts to impinge or compress the sciatic nerve passing beneath it, and it actually results in symptoms or radiating symptoms in the course or in the distribution of the sciatic nerve, sometimes mistaken as lumbar radiculopathy as well. So that is one very important clinical fact about it. And as it passes beneath the piriformis and exits beneath the piriformis, it lies on the adductor magnus muscle, and it is crossed by the long head of the biceps femoris muscle. As we can see, this is the long head of the biceps femoris, which arises from the ischial tuberosity and then goes from the medial to lateral aspect and to insert on the fibular head. Now, the branches of the sciatic nerve, because proximal to the knee and sometimes within the pelvis, the sciatic nerve divides into two of its major branches, which are the common peroneal nerve as well as the tibial nerve. So talking about the common peroneal nerve and the tibial nerve or the common fibular nerve, these travel vertically down the thigh and they enter the popliteal fossa posterior to the knee, and that's where they meet the popliteal artery and vein. And here we can see the sciatic nerve, which actually branches the common fibular nerve, and here we have the tibial nerve. Here we have the common fibular nerve, and here we have the tibial nerve. So here we have the sciatic nerve, which actually exits beneath the piriformis, passes on the adductor magnus, and the long head of the biceps actually crosses it. And when it reaches about the termination of the posterior aspect of the thigh, it actually terminates or it divides into two branches, the tibial nerve and the common fibular nerve. So it descends through the popliteal fossa. The tibial nerve descends through the popliteal fossa and enters the posterior compartment of the leg and continues through the sole of the foot, and it also gives off the branches to the numerous muscles in its way. Now the innervations of the tibial nerve include the muscles in the posterior compartment of the leg, such as gastrocnemius. It also supplies the long head of the biceps femoris and semimembranosus and semitendinosus, but some books may refer that those are actually supplied by the sciatic nerve itself, but tibial nerve is also a branch of the sciatic nerve. So short of the biceps femoris is not innervated by the tibial nerve because that is innervated by the common fibular nerve. So in case of either the sciatic nerve directly is giving off branches, or either the tibial nerve is giving off the branches, but it's only the short head of the biceps femoris in the posterior aspect of the thigh which is not being innervated by the tibial nerve or the sciatic nerve, and that is actually innervated by the common fibular nerve. So here we have the muscles in the intrinsic muscle in the sole of the foot, including the first two dorsal interossei muscles. So the first two dorsal interossei are actually supplied by the tibial nerve, and they may receive innervation from the deep fibular nerve as well. Moving on, it also supplies the skin on the posterior lateral side of the lower half of the leg as it passes through the posterior part of the leg. It also supplies the skin on the lateral side of the ankle, the foot, and the little toe. And lastly, it also supplies the sole of the foot and the toe. So that is the innervation of the skin by the tibial nerve. Talking about the common fibular nerve, it innervates the short head of the biceps femoris in posterior compartment of thigh and continues into lateral and anterior compartments of the leg, and it extends onto the foot. So the innervations which are actually by the common fibular nerve include all of the muscles in the anterior and the lateral compartments of the leg, as also the extensor digitorum brevis on the dorsal aspect of the foot, as well as the first two dorsal interossei muscles in the sole of the foot. So the skin which is actually innervated by the fibular nerve is the lateral aspect of the leg and ankle, as well as the dorsal aspect of the foot and toes. So that was all about the nerves of the posterior aspect of the thigh. I hope you learned something new out of it. Thank you very much for watching sqadia.com.